beautiful people, and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Crystal and this is Bond Book Reviews, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I am going to be outing myself and giving you some really embarrassing figures, I guess you could say. I'm going to be talking about all of the series that I am currently in the middle of.
I'm just hoping you could stay tonight. If you want it all, you don't gotta. See you with my eyes closed. Baby, take it real slow.
My ongoing series. There is 52 series that I am currently in the middle of that I need to finish. And the reason I'm doing this is for two reasons. The first is for my own accountability. The second is that I am going to get you guys to vote on what series you think I should be prioritizing. If you comment down below any series I mentioned today that you think I should prioritize, I'm going to be adding a prompt to my pickpong TBR game that I play every month. And when I get the prompt, which is going to be priority series, I will come to this video and do a random number generator on the comments, and whichever one is chosen will be the series that I need to continue and finish in that month that I get it in pickpong. Obviously, if it's a series that has like 6+ books in it, it's probably not possible, but that is my aim, is to try and finish it in that month if it comes up as my priority series on pickpong. So these will probably be in alphabetical order because that's kind of how I have them listed in my series tracker. If you are interested a bit more on what my series tracker looks like or how I use it, let me know and I can do a video on it. But I do want to say a special shout out to Paige from Pages with Paige, who helped me very much organize this, color code it, get it all set up. She is the spreadsheet queen, and yes, so very much huge thanks to her. But on here I have all of my current series that I have read, I'm currently in the middle of, up to date on, or not yet started. So if you would also like to hear about all the series that I own that I am not yet started, that's another video I can do for you as well to continue to shame myself. But for now, let's dive on in and talk about all of the series that I'm currently in the middle of them. Now, because there's 52 of them, I'm not going to go into too much detail about what each series is about. I'm just going to tell you where I'm up to and the series name, and then some of the books that are within that series. So all you guys need to do is comment down below which ones you think I should prioritize and why. And if there's any you think that I should DNF and not continue, comment that and let me know why. Maybe you can convince me to move on without finishing it. Let's dive on in. So the first series on this list is the Clovers series. This is a self-published author, but she was one of the first people to send me a book when I was reading ARC reviews when I joined Bookstagram, and I read the first 2 books in the series, which are Luck and Love, and I do also have Faith and Hope, which I need to continue and haven't done so. I will obviously put all the photos up here. I am not going to go to my shelves. I have 4 different bookshelves. I'm not going to go to them and pull the books down. Don't have time to do that right now. So I will be putting photos up here of what the books look like. The next series that I am in the middle of is A Dog's Purpose series. I have read A Dog's Purpose, I own A Dog's Journey, and I am yet to purchase A Dog's Promise. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is the next series. I have read book 1 and book 2, but I have not read book 3. Next we have the After series. Now I have only read book 1 in this series, so I still have 4 books left, I think, to read. I don't own all of them. I think I own book 2 and book 4, but I don't own 3 and 5. So yeah, if you think I should continue that series, let me know. The next one is the Anne of Green Gables series. I started this one years ago. I've read book 1 and book 2, but I haven't continued the series. It's kind of one of those ones I really enjoyed, but I'm umming and ahhing about whether I'll actually continue the series or not, or just stick with the 2 that I've read. Next up is the Ascendants series, and I have read the first book in this one, which was The False Prince. I borrowed this from my library 2018, I think it was. Read book 1, enjoyed it quite a lot. But I just haven't bothered or gone out and picked up the remainder of the series because I borrowed it from the library. I always forget that I've read it. But yes, there is 4 more books in the series and I haven't read or own a single one of them. Next up is the Assassin's Quest series. I started that one last month, which I read Assassin's Apprentice, but I have not read book 2 and 3 in that series itself. And I own book 2 and 3 out of that series. And then there's also like multiple other series within that world. that I don't own of and will want to continue. So that is obviously probably going to be one that a lot of people vote for me to continue, but I'm so intimidated. Next we have Between the Lines, which is by Jodi Picoult, I think it is. I have read Between the Lines, but I haven't read Off the Pages, which is book 2. I do, however, own it. This would be a really easy one for me to finish. I just haven't done so. I do remember that I gave the first book in the series 5 stars, really enjoyed it. So I don't know why I haven't continued this one. Next we have the Book of Fairies, which I read Lament, and I own Ballad, but I don't own Requiem. And yeah, I planned on picking out Ballad, but I didn't end up putting it on a wish list. I didn't end up putting it on a TBR, and here we are a couple months later and I haven't continued. You will see my trend for a lot of these series is read book 1 and haven't continued. I am a book 1 whore. I start a book in a series and I always forget to continue. I'm not very good at reading book 1 and then continuing with book 2 either straight away or the next month. I think my TBR game makes that almost difficult, and also I find myself, by the time I do my TBR game almost a month after I finish the book, I find myself being distracted by standalones or other series that have caught my attention since then. So this is probably where I've ended up with 52 ongoing series. Now the next series that I have only read book 1 for is the Brown Sisters series. This is the trilogy. We have Get a Life Chloe Brown, Take a Hint Danny Brown, and Act Your Age Evie Brown. I own 2 and 3, but I have not continued the series. I do plan on prioritizing it if I can, but there's just so many. Another series that I started last month was Caraval. I've read book 1 in the series. I do not own book 2 and 3, but if you guys think that I should prioritize it, I will do my best to obtain it and continue the series. Now this next one, I am semi on the fence about whether or not I want to continue the series or DNF the series, and that is the Creekwood series. I read Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda as part of a book club, and I own Leah on the Offbeat, but I haven't really heard good things about it. So yeah, let me know if you think that I should continue or DNF that one, because that one is definitely on the fence at the moment as to whether I continue or not. Another one I'm really disappointed that I haven't actually continued is the Cursebreaker series. I read A Curse So Dark and Lonely, absolutely loved it. I own A Heart So Fierce and Broken, but haven't read it. And I have the sample on NetGalley for A Vow So Bold and Deadly. So I don't know why I haven't made this a priority. I am terrible. Maybe I should do an entire pickpong where all I do is I'm only allowed to continue series. Even that probably wouldn't get me very far. Next we have the Toro Quest series. I have read season 1, but I have not finished season 2. I've started it but not finished it. So yeah, that still counts as a series I'm in the middle of. We have the Descendants series. I read Escape from the Lost Isle, I think is what it's called. No, the Isle of the Lost. But I do not own the remaining 3 books in the series, and I have not read them. The next one I read not realizing it was a series, but it was the first in the series, and it is the Detective Ellen Warner series. I read the Sanatorium for a book club, and apparently there's now a 2nd book in the series called The Retreat. This is another one I'm like, yeah, liked the Sanatorium, liked the writing. It was a good thriller. If I managed to get my hand on The Retreat, I would continue it, but I'm not like jumping out to get to it. So if you can change my mind, let me know. The next one is one that I have read when I was younger and I would love to continue, and that is the series I have sitting here, which is the Earthchild series, which is the Clan of the Cave Bear series, is what it would be known as by a lot of people who've read the first book in the series. I've read book 1, 2, and 3, but I haven't continued the series. I own book 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Don't own book 6. But yeah, I kind of am at that point where I've been avoiding picking it back up because I feel like it's almost been too long that I need to reread, but I'm not ready to reread 3 books. So I think I might just have to do like a recap on 1, 2, and 3 and then just pick up book 4, or maybe even just pick up book 3, because I remember what happened in book 1 and book 2, but book 3 I don't remember. So maybe I just need to re-pick up book 3. Next is the Eddie Flynn series. I read 13 by this author, not realizing again that it was part of a series, but it's the only one in the series that I have read. I do not own it. The rest of them are on my wish list. I didn't realize they were all part of a series. I thought they were standalones because they can be read as standalones. But yes, I definitely do want to continue the rest of this series because I have loved the author when I read 13. It was so good. Now we have another one that is from my childhood that I have not continued, and that is the Gone series. I own the entire series and I've only read book 1. So if you've read the series and you think I should continue, let me know. This is one that I will not need your encouragement to finish, and that is Heartstopper. I've read volume 1. Volume 2 I'm about to go pick up this month. So volume 3 and volume 4 I will be prioritizing, or just reading as extra like little books to finish off my month. So I don't think I need much encouragement from you to continue Heartstopper. But if you do want to chuck it in the comments, let me know. It may show up as a random generated and we'll see what happens. The next one is Holes, and I've read book 1 in this, but I do not own book 2. I read this, loved it. It was one of my favorite books from my high school reading experience that I can remember everything that happened. I loved it so much, but I didn't realize it was part of a series, and there's a second book and I am so excited. I just don't currently own it, but yes, definitely keen to continue this one. Now this next one will probably surprise people that I haven't actually finished this series, because I will talk anyone's ear off about how much I love this book, and that is the Inkheart series. So I have read book 1 in the series, absolutely loved it, but I have not read book 2 and book 3. I own them. I only acquired them probably beginning of this year, end of last year, but yes, I haven't prioritized and picked them up. I've only read Inkheart, I haven't read the other 2, and I haven't heard a lot of people talk about book 2 and book 3. So if you have actually finished the whole series and you think I should prioritize it, make sure you let me know. Next series is the Lilac Girls, and I have read Lilac Girls, really enjoyed it, but I have not read book 2 and book 3, and I don't own them. So this is my problem. I either own the book series and just haven't prioritized it, or I've read book 1 from the library or borrowed it, and then I forget that I'm in the middle of it and I don't prioritize trying to get book 2 and book 3 read. Next we have the Nevernight series by J. Kristoff. I've read the Nevernight, but I have not read the remaining 2 in the series. With all the controversy going around Nevernight and everything, I kind of felt like it was tarnished and I didn't want to pick it back up anytime soon. So it's low on my priority list, but I do eventually want to pick it back up. If you think that I should, let me know. But at the moment, I'm just kind of like shelving it for now. Next, we have the Peculiar series. Next, we have the Peculiar Children series. I have read book 1 in this. This is Jesse from Jesse the Reader's like favorite series of all time, and I picked it up on his recommendation. I really enjoyed book 1, but I don't own the rest of the series. I got book 1 secondhand from a friend who was getting rid of it. But I don't have the rest of the series. Otherwise, I probably would have picked it up pretty quickly because I did enjoy book 1. But yes, I don't own the rest of the series. It is my plan to eventually collect it all. And I do want to prioritize it, but I just haven't, like the rest of the books on this series. It is the same with the Percy Jackson series. I own the entire series. I got the box set. I read book 1. And I aimed to put book 2 on like multiple different TBRs, and then the prompts just didn't allow it to happen, and then it got moved to the wayside. So I have the audiobook borrowed right now, but I'm prioritizing the books that are on my TBR at the moment, so that's why it's kind of getting ignored. We have the Pinch of Magic series. I have read book 1, which is A Pinch of Magic, but I have not read A Sprinkle of Sorcery or A Tangle of Spells, I think it is, which is book 2 and book 3. This is a Gav recommend, so I might try and aim to continue this for the Believeathon next month. Maybe, fingers crossed. We have Ready Player One. I've read Ready Player One, obviously haven't read Ready Player Two. I was super excited for this to come out. It was on my like most anticipated list, and then I didn't get around to getting a copy, and then people ripped it to shreds when it came out and said that it was absolutely terrible. And so it's just kind of fallen to the wayside. But if you think it's worth picking up, let me know and I will try and prioritize it. Now this is another series that like I got book 1 and read and really enjoyed, but I don't own the rest of the series. It's on my wish list and I will eventually get it because I think I'm really going to enjoy it, but I just haven't done so. And that is the Red Queen series. I've read book 1, don't own the rest of the series. Let me know what you think down below, whether I should continue it. Of course, Shadow and Bone, I joined the bandwagon when the show was coming out. I planned on reading all 3 books, read book 1, and then I also read book 1 of the Crooked Kingdom one, and I haven't continued either series. I wanted to read all before I watched the TV series, but I just haven't done so. I haven't watched the TV series either. I am so far behind, and I don't find myself itching to pick them up. So you're gonna have to change my mind on those ones. So that's the Six of Crows and the Shadow and Bone series. Like, I'm in the middle of both of them. We have Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. I read Small Spaces. I listened to the audiobook Believeathon last year, I think it was. There is 2 more books in the series, and there's a 4th book that is due to come out soon, or has come out, I believe, from my last recollection. And I don't own either of them, but I really enjoyed the spookiness of the Small Spaces, and I probably will try and put that on a Believeathon or a middle grade kind of TBR in the future. The next series I started again last month, and that is Supernatural Beasts and Bullies, and that's the Zodiac Academy Awakening, I think is book 1. The Awakening. And then obviously there is 5 more books in the series. No, 6 more books in the series. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 6 more books in the series, and I think the series isn't even finished yet. There might be more in it. I didn't like the bullying in this. It made me a little bit uncomfortable, but everyone tells me that book 3, that's not 3 because that's 1. Book 3 and book 4 is where it is at. So I do want to continue this one, but I'm very intimidated considering that the bullying in this made me a little bit uncomfortable. But everyone that I have spoken to says I need to continue this series. So let me know what you think. The next series is one of those other ones that is on the fence, and that is The Bells. I have read the first in the series, The Bells, but I own The Everlasting Rose, but I have not read it. And I think book 3 is due to come out. It's not currently published. No idea what's going on. It's currently not got a book title, but I think there is going to be a 3rd book in the series. I didn't really love The Bells as much as everybody said I should. It was very, very hyped, but I didn't have a great time. But I own The Everlasting Rose. I am curious to read it. I thought that I would finish it off when it was going to be a duology, and I was like, yep, I'll just read The Everlasting Rose and then I'll be done. Now that it's going to be one of 3, I will need to read The Everlasting Rose pretty quickly, otherwise it'll get to the point where I probably just won't continue. Now, a series that surprised me is The Bridge Kingdom, and I've read book 1 in this and absolutely loved it. I actually put a review up on Instagram this morning for this one, so if you're interested in that, you can go check out my Instagram. Follow me if you haven't already, because I do put a lot more updates on my bookish thoughts over on there. And book 2 of that, The Trader Queen, is out, and apparently there's going to be a book 3 and a book 4, and I'm very interested in doing that. I haven't picked it up yet purely because I only started it like 2 months ago, and my plan is to definitely pick up book 2 in this one. A series that I started in high school and didn't realize was part of a series is The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simmons I think it is. I've read The Bronze Horseman, but I have not read the prequel or the 2 books following. I own the prequel. I've read book 1. I don't own book 2 when I own book 4. No, book 3. I can number. It's been a big, busy day at work today. So yes, my plan is to probably completely reread that one. I want to read from prequel 1, 2, 3, but it's low on my priority list unless you can change my mind. The Hate You Give. I have read The Hate You Give, but I haven't read Concrete Rose. I loved The Hate You Give, and I definitely want to read The Concrete Rose. I just don't currently own it. The Infernal Devices. I have read book 1, but I have not continued and read 2 and 3. So I've read Clockwork Angel, but I haven't read Clockwork Prince or Princess. Will I continue? I have no idea. I buddy read book 1 with somebody, and maybe I might buddy read book 2 with them if they're up for it. We'll see. But yeah, it's very low on my priority list at the moment. I think I'm just kind of over Cassandra Clare's writing at the moment. We'll see. I do have more of her books I want to read, so I think I need to get back into it. But for now, we'll wait and see. We have the Inheritance Cycle, which is the first book in the series is Eragon, which I have read, but I have not continued the series. Again, this is another one I read when I was younger and just never continued the series. Let's just say that my trend of not continuing series didn't start recently. It's not a Bookstagram made me do it. It's not a BookTube made me do it. It's I've had this my entire life problem. The only series that I have actively read and finished as each book came out is the Harry Potter series and the series of Unfortunate Events series, and maybe Goosebumps. That's about it. So we have the Kisscroton. I have read the Kisscroton. I own the Bride Test, and I have the audiobook for her latest one, The Heart Principle. I am seriously considering DNFing this series. I didn't mind the Kisscroton, but I have stared and stared at the Bride Test and not once been excited to put it on my TBR. So that's kind of telling me maybe I should just move on. We have The Land of Stories. This is by Christopher Colfer. I have read The Wishing Spell, which is book 1 in the series. There is 5 more books in the series, which I do not own and have not read. Trend continues. The next one is another one I will probably aim to put on my TBR for Believathon, and that is The Legend of Ear of Sea, I think it is. The Legends of Erie on Sea. And that first book in that one is the Malamander, which I really, really enjoyed. Gargantus is book 2 in that I have the audiobook for, so I definitely will try and prioritize that. And book 3 has recently come out, I think, which is Shadowgast. Yeah, I think it only recently came out because a lot of people are talking about it at the moment. So yes, that would be one that I could easily finish off because they are middle grade, so it's easy to finish. Another one is The Nightmareverse. This is another one of those ones I borrowed from the library. I read book 1 and book 2 on a weekend away, but apparently now there's a book 3 that I didn't know existed, and that is A Crown So Cursed. So I've read A Blade So Black and A Dream So Dark, but apparently there's a third called A Crown So Cursed. Didn't even know it existed until I created my series list and went, oh crap. Thought I was done with that one. I enjoyed it. I think I gave them both like 3 stars, but I'm not running out to continue the series. We have The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker, I think it is. I've read The Simple Wild. I don't own the rest of the series, but I've heard really good things and I am definitely keen to continue it. But because I don't own book 1, I don't see it on my red shelf and it doesn't make me think to pick up the rest of the books. This is why I'm doing this video, so that I can like have an accountability and be like, Crystal, just click on the random part of this video and whatever book you mention, that's the series you need to read. The Twilight Saga. I have read all 4 books in the Twilight Saga, but obviously I haven't read Midnight Sun. I don't think I'm going to. I got given a copy for free and yeah, it's pretty long on that list unless you can convince me otherwise. We have The Wild by Kay Webster. I read The Wild, amazing. The sequel is The Free, I think it is. Yeah, The Free, which I plan on buddy reading with somebody. So I'm just waiting for like things to line up so that we can buddy read that one together. We have The World Between Blinks, which is by Amy Kaufman and Ryan Gordon, I think it is. I read The World Between Blinks, really enjoyed it. I loved that world. It was so imaginative. And book 2 has only just come out, but I do not own it yet. So the Tomorrow series, with the first one being Tomorrow When the War Began, I own the entire series. I read in high school, I want to say, the Tomorrow When the War Began first 2 books, maybe. But I would need to reread if I was going to continue this series. And that's it. They are my shame list, the shameful list of all the series that I am currently in the middle of. What should I prioritize? Let me know. If you've made it this far and dealt with all of my ramblings, put a stack of books in the comments down below because that's how many books I'm going to be stacking high trying to get all of them read. I have so many series, guys. It's embarrassing. If you think that's bad, I own 61 series that I am yet to start. If you want to hear that list, let me know. So thank you so much for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching and happy reading.